Live streaming is on.
Focus executive support. Topics is verify the priorities list, right? Priorities. So we got a lot of that done. So I don't think it's gonna take too long because there were the lowest priorities left, right? So I don't know, Jake, 10, 15 minutes maybe. What do you say? Hello? Hello, Jay, do you hear me? Oh, you're muted.
I was on mute. Oops.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. So 10, 15 minutes to finish verifying the list, and then we can do a view up.
I mean, I don't know if we need to do a view up, but we can invite
Moth,
right? So other topics would be moth. I mean, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
moth tracking hours.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we need to talk about and go over? Or?
Well, my idea of the view up was that if you have time, we can get some of these priorities covered, like especially. I think it could be a good time to one that's popping up in my mind is the IRS account. It shouldn't take long, and we have been postponing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't. I mean, obviously, if it was the top priority, probably would have done it already. But
well, it's coming there. It's getting up.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I feel like there's other things I would prefer to do more than the IRS account, including SVG and CCC and stuff like that. Anyways, let's get our priorities list going here.
Yeah, but the point with the IRS account is just passing me the credentials because we already have it, right?
Not exactly.
No.
I don't even know if it's possible to pass credentials or however it works. I don't know how it works at all. I mean, we'll just have to see.
Okay, no problem, Jay. Let's start, and then we can. I mean, I have a lot of time, so if you have time, it'd be nice if we can get also some work done. Yeah.
Like originally, I thought it was kind of like we would just order individual taxes for review, like the tax receipts and things like that.
Okay.
So that was the original thought, that when we're going through the responsibilities, you would just do one by one. But now basically we're saying, okay, we have to create this account in order to order the actual taxes. But either way, it still goes to the responsibility organizing, where you're actually just doing the responsibility and ordering the taxes one by one. I mean, we're not going to just like.
Yeah, I mean, we can decide on that because I read on the like, okay, for the as I said already, and as we know, for the non-profit it's all public, right? So just checking into the website and it's all public. For the problem is that for corporation, the trust and the for-profit taxes, I saw that you either, because you cannot call them because it's private information, so you cannot like call the IRS and say, oh, I would like to know if this and that. No. So you either send a formal, obviously there is a form that you can fill out, send it to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously it's a cost of paper and work also to do the form, or you create this account where you just you register yourself with the entities and everything, and then anytime you go into your account and you can check there. It's like a client portal where you can check the status of your taxes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to get it set up. I don't know if it's the number one top priority for right now. I mean, right now it says The website and the image for SVG is the top priority.
Yeah, it's well down. 625.
But I think that's just where I'm at in terms of like this being a VA session and all. Like it's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
SVG and CCC are the priority. So I mean, I understand like it's fun to work on the taxes and everything, but like, why don't we just schedule a taxes priority session or prioritize working on the taxes and getting it set up, and then we'll get that done as part of that. So if we just schedule to do the responsibility, doing the responsibility will include that.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. I agree with you. Perfect.
All right. Anyways, why don't we get focused here on the
Yes. Mhm.
on finish verifying this and preventing upfront pay stuff. That sound good?
Yeah.
So we
Sounds
are
good.
on line 23. We've already finished like the first 2/3, so it should go pretty quick. I'm happy to go over some of the stuff again too if you need to. So this one is under documentations.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
For the equity.
Yes.
So shouldn't we maybe ask Mel to also do the tracking of the hours? Because how am I gonna track the hours of Mel? It's kind of complicated. I mean, we have some information. We have the sessions. Yeah.
Under our policies, everybody's required to estimate their hours, right? And then if you're getting upfront pay, you're supposed to be tracking your hours, right? In terms of like let's say like a Mamoon didn't track his hours, right? Under our policies, he can estimate his total hours and he can get paid, but then we can fire him because he's breaking policy, not tracking his hours, right? And wanting to get paid up front. So
Okay.
that's the policy. So we can easily estimate Mel's hours and we can, meet the basic policy and I don't know what she's put in like 15, 20 hours, something like that in the last month. Coming to sessions and doing some support work and the logo stuff. So, we can ask her if that sounds about right, but that's all that's required. From there, it's like, yes, she should be tracking her hours just like anyone else, but she doesn't have to have like
A tracking
an
spreadsheet.
official tracking hours spreadsheet because
She's not getting
it's
this.
like she's not in the team. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
perfect
As
sense.
soon as she joined the team, we would require her to have clear responsibilities and like do all of that, but she's not doing that. So, and obviously she's not getting paid. So
Okay, so it's okay if I just send her an email and ask, since it's the end of the month, look, the month just ended. Can you please give us an estimate of how many hours you put into SVG, so we can
yeah,
track
you can
the
even do that on our partnership
partners?
group.
Yeah. Okay.
And you could say like, we were estimating somewhere between 10 and 20 hours. Like, does that sound about right? Like 15 hours? Like what, we just want to make sure. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
Also, technically in our policies, which we don't do, I mean, we've been trying for years to just be able to track our own value and we fail every time, right? We've never really done it. Are you following? Do you understand what I'm saying? That we've never really been able to even track our own hours for FQN workers? Like,
Yeah, I mean, for example, the main sessions value tracking, it's there, but we never really got to do it
well,
properly.
no, but I'm just saying like just basic value tracking and distribution of the tokens and everything. We've never really been able
Oh
to
yeah,
do.
we never did a bonus the bonus tokens.
Yeah, exactly. So the point I'm trying to make is that once we're able to deal with all the FQN workers and issue the value and like make and actually track it correctly, then we would automatically, it's part of our policies that everybody in the entire network would automatically get value and equity, or at least community equity, right? So in that context, it's like for Mel's work in Good Cause Group, we would be getting all of her hours plus any of the sponsored programs and everything like that would all be part of our network and get value in the network. So, but we just don't do that because we can't even deal with our own hours, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, eventually we would be asking Mel to track all of her hours for Good Cause Group as well as everything she's doing and issue her value for that. We're just not even capable of doing our own hours. Why would we try to do hers and all these external organizations as well, right? But eventually that would be our goal. But again, we're just not able to do any of these things because of our own incompetence and just lack of resources and time and organization, all of that. So it's like, one day it would be great to get there, but that's part of the sponsorship program, that once you're part of the network, you would automatically be getting equity for the whole network and the whole community equity and the whole community that we're building. So, again, we just don't do that because it's not feasible, because we can't even do our own value. First let's do our own value, then we can talk about adding everyone else.
Yeah. For the time being, and so I will just send her an email and ask her.
Yeah. So Mel's only getting value for her time with SPG.
Yeah. Perfect.
For now. Okay. So
Moving on.
that's good to check that. And again, what I'm asking you to do it for the actual, because I think you're talking about the equity. I thought the equity spreadsheet already got done though, right?
What do you mean? Already got done?
Aren't we working on upfront payroll for last month?
The base equity, the base equity, we estimated man's hour, yes.
Well, I think around 2. So
I'm talking about this month that's finishing today.
yeah, I mean, it says here that the fiat distribution for 164 West based is the following amounts and to be run. It says here that it's ready to run.
Yeah, I'm talking about the month that's finishing today. Not the, that's about the we're late 1 month.
Okay.
1 full month. Yeah.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah, we already estimated the base equity for.
But overall, that.
But we're gonna be working on base token. For.
But yeah, overall, I would say that is borderline policy tracking.
No, I mean man's hours for that month are okay. We estimated them.
No, I'm just saying that's borderline policy tracking because you're distracting me with future payrolls and we haven't even finished the current payroll. So that is exactly why we have the policy that we're not supposed to be moving on to the next payroll until we finish the current payroll, which we haven't done yet.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about payrolls. I'm talking about how to estimate the hours of Mel to be put in the SVG equity spreadsheet.
It has nothing to do with the equity spreadsheet. Because her value in the equity spreadsheet is just her 5%. And that doesn't change regardless of the number of hours she puts in. So it would
no, but to track the vested
yes.
amount.
Well, it relates to
all what we talked yesterday, right? That I need to update the.
Yeah, but like, don't even worry about the vesting right now. Like, we don't have anything. There's nothing to look at. The spreadsheet is blank except for a few $1,000s, which hasn't even been updated yet because we haven't even updated the new amount.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to do that, and I just wanted to have.
Okay, but just do it, and then once there's something to look at, then we can talk about it. Otherwise, it's like it's just not. It's just like it's like talking more about something we already talked so much about, and no work is getting done.
No, I get it. Yeah. Just if you have some questions, it was a question that I was thinking today because I was planning to work on that, and he said, "All right, but what about Mel? I should ask Jay." But
yes,
all right,
so the answer is yes. We want to communicate actively with Mel about
perfect. That's
all that. But right now, we're just not like the focus is not vesting. Like we do not need to verify or approve or do anything on the vesting information. It's just not a priority, and it has nothing to do with anything that's like an active process. The only thing that's an active process that you would communicate with Mel with is her equity. So basically, the equity payroll. Right. So basically, I would ask you not to talk to Mel about vesting or anyone about vesting. It's just not. It's just not a priority right now at all. And it's just a minor thing, and it happens on a yearly basis, basically. I mean, sure, you can start estimating on the months and months and start adding it up, but it's not anything that actually is going to matter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
What?
Okay. Yeah, it does. It does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, just focus on the equity payroll for Mel and get that information correct. And then we can always go back and we have the information for the vesting as needed because it's in the equity. It goes in the equity payroll first, not the vesting. The vesting
Yeah,
is like,
the information is taken from the equity pair. Yeah.
yes, and really the vesting doesn't even matter really until we have like actual tokens and like other things that we just don't even have right now. So, and again, none of it's even begun to be documented in the equity spreadsheet. So I think you're like 10 steps ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so now trying to get back to the actual workbook.
Line
So we're on
23.
the priorities verification spreadsheet, and we're on line number 23.
Yes.
All right. So this is recording, broadcasting, and video documentation. So today is the second time. So the first time I got the YouTube broadcasting going was the first day, right? And then it stopped, and we didn't know why it stopped, and then I was never able to get it back going again.
Yeah,
So
there's only 1 hour on YouTube.
Yeah, it's only 1 hour. So I think I figured it out. I think that it's because with the new model with YouTube, like you can't use the key to live stream. You have to actually open up the live streaming. I guess it would be like the control panel, right? And so it only works with the live streaming control panel itself. So that's what I have now, and I think it's working. So I think that's good. It looks like it's looks like it's active and working. So I think that's a really good sign there. So I'm happy about that. And if we can get that as our live, if we can get that as a broadcasting, at least for me, then it's just a matter of getting you guys set up for broadcasting with YouTube.
Hmm.
It just seems easier. I mean, we know we wanted to broadcast anyways, and broadcasting just seems like a good thing to do. And then you also are recording and you have it for later and it's already online. So you don't have to worry about, uploading it, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very,
So,
very. This Jitsi thing is amazing.
so then we just need to figure out the segmenting. But we also need the policies. So there's policies, so we've got live streaming on YouTube. Still need to figure out the policies though. So once we, let's just make sure we have links and documentation on our recording and broadcasting policies and what that's all supposed to do, because I don't think that we really have it. Obviously not huge top priority. Then we have our filing systems. We need to get this started for sure. Okay, so this is a different thing. So need to get
What is EPFS, EPNS? What is
decentralized
that?
file system started. So basically, what a decentralized file system is, and the reason why I'm working on remember I've told you how the new model that I'm going for is that I've kind of given up on society as society exists today on Saturday, January 21st, 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that context, it's like we've been working for decades to get donations and investors and build the sustainability and transformational organization based on open communication and open, transparent empowerment. And it's like nobody cares. It's like we've not been able to connect to the people in our society who have any sort of resources that want to either put in the time or the energy and the actual money to make this happen, and the resources. And basically, you got involved in the last year, and that's the best I've ever seen. So anyways, the bottom line is that the direction I am is all the resources that I can provide and that currently are available,
Mm-hmm.
plus we need a lot more as well. Like, so basically all the resources that we could get in the next couple of years or so, in my mind, the most important thing is to document the models, the methodologies, the systems, the processes, the experiences, and just basically the knowledge about how to build a transformative organization, and then use that as a model to slowly interconnect all the other organizations, so that you can transform your society through, by example, right? And actually do the work. So it's not, instead of it being like, oh, we want something to happen and we're going to go protest and tell people what we want. It's like, no, you just build it and then it happens, right? That's our model. So
Okay.
in that context, if nobody today is willing to do the hard work to make it happen because they're just so consumed with their lives and social media and clicking buttons and watching TV and paying rent and their families, and people are just too busy, right? The idea is to create a documentational, educational, knowledge base that will be available for future generations. Does that make sense? So I've been talking about this for a while now, where basically that the goal is to take everything that we know as a model for building a future society into a type 1 civilization, and then document that for future generations, for people in the future who are willing to stop what they're doing and actually build something collaboratively together and make decisions together and actually change the world together. So the idea is obviously people want to jump on the table, they're invited now, but realistically, we can't expect everything to happen based on the past. So instead, the idea is to first and foremost document everything for future generations. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Right? That's what we've been talking about for a while. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of. Not. I don't really grasp it, but I understand the sense, but I'm not really grasping.
We could put in another decade of time, so 10 years. Like, you've been involved for a year now, right? So we could put another 9 years to 10 years in, build an entire organization, even have hundreds of thousands of dollars, and get more people involved, and build a system, do all this thing, and the entire thing could crash, fall apart, get corrupted, get attacked, and all the data, all the information, it could just be the servers could be wiped, and everything could just disappear. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
We could put 10 years in and it still wouldn't matter, and then there still wouldn't be anything to show for it, and the world could still be going into complete disaster and dismay, where billions of more animals and people die and all that kind of stuff. That's totally possible, right? And then there would be nothing to show for future generations if we keep everything based on the current model and the current system, because it's all so fragile. We don't have real backups or anything. Does that make sense? It all could just disappear.
Yes.
Google could click a button and 90% of all of our data is gone, everything, right? So that's what I'm talking about. It's not about us, and it's not about even the next 10 years, because all of that could be for nothing, right? It might be another 25 years or even 50 years or even past our lifetimes, 100 years before the world is ready to transform, and that's okay. Because what we are building is not something that's about urgency, that it has to happen now. It's all about it happening at all, at any time. And as long as it happens at some point, which I think is inevitable, that's all that matters. So we're just trying to build basically a roadmap for anyone who wants to build a transformative organization based on, unity, transparency, openness, collaboration. That's what we have to offer to the world. And anyone who wants to do that, either now or in 25 years or in 50 years or in 100 years, will have everything that they need to do that if we build and collaborate with the decentralized file systems. So what a decentralized file system is basically, let's say me and you die, right? We stop paying the bills. We stop paying Google bills. Google's going to delete all of our data. Amazon's going to delete all of our data. All the websites are going to go down. All the URLs disappear because there's no websites. There's nothing left because all of the bills have died. There's no budget. It all goes away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
With a decentralized file system, none of that matters. And basically what a decentralized file system is it's an internet-based building block of information that is interconnected with blockchains to create basically multiple copies of data that is indestructible, right? So there's no server that can be deleted. There's no even it's basically using cryptographic blockchain systems to build and route data so that it's basically every single data point gets a cryptographic key so that you can pull all of the bits of information from all over the world to rebuild the files, right? Because it's a distributed and decentralized file system. And so basically what we want to do is we want to get all of our most important data and documents into the distributed file system so that they are stored distributively across the world in many data centers outside of any ownership, right? It's completely controlled by the people of the world. And then they would be able to utilize that even in 100, 200, 500 years, because it would basically be stored on, it's not the blockchain, but it would be what you, the security of the blockchain would prevent anyone from changing it, so that you could actually know that this was a legitimate file. And then from there, the actual file system itself would be distributed and be replicated and be unhackable, as long as there was one copy left over somewhere, so it could be available for hundreds if not thousands of years. Does that make sense?
Makes perfectly sense, and it sounds a lot of work first of all, but it also sounds expensive, very expensive.
No, well, that's the thing, is it's not expensive. It's free. It's 100% free because it's
expensive to set it up and to implement it. I mean,
no, it's free. It's
how can you store information in multiple data centers without paying the fee to store the information into those?
Because it's like Google, you get 5 gigabytes for free. So as long as we can keep everything under 5 gigabytes per account, so let's say we made 3 accounts, that would be 15 gigabytes. So obviously we can't be storing any videos and things like that, but there is an application that I found, this might take a year or two to build a whole presentation about what we're doing and why we're doing it and why we think this is what we would call essential knowledge for future generations. And then you can present that to the people who control the data centers. And if they deem our knowledge-based information to be valid, for example, all of Wikipedia is automatically stored, right? Because it's knowledge. So if we can say this is knowledge that should be stored, and if someone agrees to that, then it'll automatically, we could create terabytes of data that would automatically be stored all for free. But it just whether the question is this important enough to be knowledge that's important, and that is done by the community. And if they deem this information to be important knowledge for future generations, we can start adding videos and start adding more documentation that has more gigabytes. But for now, we should be able to easily have the foundational methodologies, all the basic information, the systems, under 5 gigabytes easily. And it's all free.
Got it.
Yeah. Cool. But either way, the point is that once you get the 5 gigabytes started, as soon as the community looks at your data and is like, oh, I want to read this, oh, I want to look at more of it, it's automatically percolated and then distributed throughout the system. If you create 5 gigabytes of data and nobody wants to read it or look at it, and it's just sitting there, it'll still get stored for very, very long periods of time. But at some point it could get deleted. But as soon as people start looking at it and are like, oh yeah, this is important data, the system automatically percolates it and distributes it throughout the world, right? So it's like any data that's used automatically gets saved forever. Any data that's basically just no longer used at all gets, could be saved permanently, as long as it's a small amount of data and you set it up correctly. Because you only need 1 or 2 places to store it, right?
Right.
But once it's completely disconnected from everything else, eventually it will be deleted if there's nobody actually working on the back end. But the cost of actually setting up a permanent system is free, but you would need 1 person to go in there and kind of recheck it every couple years or whatever, so that it doesn't disappear eventually. Because eventually, if full disconnection happened, it would get deleted if nobody is keeping that information. But even just the information will forever, because it will automatically. which is what our expectation would be, is that people would actually be interested in this data,
Of
if
course,
not for short term, for like long term future generations.
of course.
Anyway, that's super duper important. I've been working on that. I've already started. It's just a matter of setting up the accounts and then starting to choose single individual documents that we would want to start, grounding. And I think, for example,
Uh
the
huh.
methodology proposal and the constitutions and some of the grounding documents and then some of the policies like that, I think would be a starting point.
Okay,
And we would just slowly add more documents into these decentralized file systems and slowly build up this data.
got it. Now I get it. Okay,
And for
perfect.
me, this is the only thing that matters for everything that we're doing. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like, on one level, this has nothing to do with the work we're doing now. It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with the budget and all that stuff. It has everything to do with like when we die, what are we actually leaving for future generations? Because we're not leaving it on Google. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah. So in
great.
the decentralized systems are
Amazing.
all based on Filecoin, right? So the blockchain is Filecoin, and
Mhm.
this is so preliminary. Um, like right now you can't really put documents directly on the blockchain, but that's going to change, right? And so
Yeah.
right now things are still preliminary, where we're using IPFS and IPNS, and then Filecoin to document it. But either way, it's 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 free, infinite long-term storage of data that's
Uh huh.
decentralized across the entire world, and it's already happening. And this is a beautiful thing, and it's brand new in the last couple of years. This is the cutting edge of blockchain and decentralized ledger technology and decentralized file systems, which have come a long way since basically Napster, right?
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, Napster was the first one to put free music, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
Amazing.
so
All right. Thank you. Thank
pretty
you. Thank you.
exciting. But it's
Yeah.
very, very important that you understand how that all works and what it is. All right, so the
Yeah.
next one is computer and tech. So, I mean, there's just no question that I'm just like eager to get a new computer. I might try to bug and get help with it, but I don't know. It's just a pain in the butt. Anyway, let's just leave it as is and not worry about it. All right. Then
I
we have
I per yeah, I personally was going crazy with my computer before. You might remember it. I bought this Google Chrome computer, which is just basically it's a cell phone with a big screen, but it's like perfect to work on Google, right? That we do everything on Google at the moment. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I mean, my
yeah,
computer,
and
my
really,
laptop is good.
I
It's for
two
me.
two hundred $200.
Nice.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so
Yeah, I mean,
it's
for me,
amazing.
it's like, my laptop works
No,
fine. Like, I have a computer, it's working, it's functional. It's hard to do some of the large scale studio things, but if we're streaming, it should be okay. And then from there, the problem is the my back and my neck and the actual like working on a laptop is just it hurts. Like it hurts my neck and my back, and I need to work at like a desktop, to be able to have my back straight and have my arms. I mean, it's like, just health. It's for health reasons.
no.
So
I just
yeah,
was.
the
I,
desktop
I wanted to
computers.
tell you this for some time and got
Yeah, I
the
mean, we could look and see what kind of desktop computers they have, but usually I get the cheapest one. It's like the cheapest Apple, and it's like $1,000. And the one that I got like 3 years ago was the last model that was an actual running hard drive, like a spinning hard drive instead of the flash hard drive. And it was going to cost, I think, $200 to get the flash hard drive. And I was just like,
yeah,
oh no,
yeah.
money. And I didn't do it. And I should have done it because it just, because my laptop runs on the flash, it's so much faster. And I just can't, I mean, it's literally just the spinning wheel of death all the time. And the computer's just always spinning and it always takes forever to do everything. And it's just like, I can't do any work on it. And it just drives me insane. And I just wish I had spent the extra $200 to get the flash drive back in the day. And then it would be great. And it's just like, it's like a paperweight because I can't use it. It's such a pain in the butt. So
Yeah,
anyways, I want to just get a flash drive one, which would cost like $1,000. And, I might be able to turn in the one that I have. So maybe it would be as little as $500. I don't think it would
yeah,
be that expensive. So it's not like a huge expense, and it would help so much in getting the work done, especially on the investments. That's like the main purpose of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
All right. So the
You
next
wanna
one.
you wanna bring that up a little bit as a priority?
No, because our
Maybe.
budget is such a problem right now. Like I just don't know how we're going to do that. Like I don't know. But I've been talking about it for months and months and months and months and months, and I don't know. Anyways, I mean, because I can still get by with what I have. It's not like impossible. It's just a pain in the butt, you know. All right. So policy
In
on.
the United States, I don't know. I have a question. In the
Yeah.
United States, do, I don't know if they have this, but like for example, in Italy, it doesn't exist, and it's something that in Brazil here it's huge. That you can basically buy everything, but anything by installments, anything.
Yeah, you can definitely
Can you do
sign.
that in the United States?
Yeah, you can basically sign up for like a credit card, and then it goes on the credit card, and then you
Yeah,
pay.
especially on the through credit cards, exactly. That you pay with monthly installment, low. Of course, they charge you interest, but I mean, maybe we could look into that, right? So it wouldn't be such a strain on the budget because
I mean, it's
the monthly
complicated.
installment would be lower.
Like it's harder to do it on the business side, you know. Like it'd be easier to buy like a personal computer and have it be on my personal credit card, you know.
Yeah.
But either way, the way I do finances is that it doesn't really matter if it's a credit card or not. You're spending the money. It's just a matter of transferring the money to the credit card over time, you know. So
Hmm.
in that context, I mean, it's still a cost, you know. I don't really see loans and um, you know, like you go and you could spend $20,000 and it's all payments that you owe in the future. The idea that you're not spending $20,000 is just not applicable. Like for me, when you spend the money, you spend the money, whether you're paying back the loan right away or over years, is not paying the money. You already paid the money. You know what I mean? It's just transferring money to your negative a balance. Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah, but on a budget point of view, you wouldn't have to budget $500 or $1,000 for 1 month. You would just have to budget the installment, which could be as low as I don't know, $50 in 10 installments, or I mean, with the interest maybe 11 installments or something like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that the way that I do finances is that the money is spent when the money is spent, regardless of what account it's spent on. And some of those accounts are negative credit cards, but it doesn't change the fact that we're still spending the money, right? It's
No,
just
yeah,
going
yeah.
to a different account. And then that account is being transferred into month after month. So the way, I mean, because if you looked at it like, oh, you could just put everything on credit cards, which, you know, I've had problems with in the past, then you get to the point where like, okay, why only spend $500 on a computer or $1,000 on a computer? Why not buy, you know, another $1,000 here, and another $20,000 there, and another $30,000 there? Because it doesn't count in the budget. It's like, no, it does count. If you go spend $20,000, you spent $20,000. It doesn't matter that you transferred the funds and paid that off over years and years and years. You still spent $20,000. You see what I'm saying? Like the way that I budget is like it doesn't matter if it's on a credit card or not, you're still spending the money. Like for me, paying a credit card is simply a transfer of from one account to another account. But one account happens to be negative and the other account is positive. But it's still like a transfer, it's not spending money. Like when you pay off a credit card, you're not spending money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean it's a risky business for sure. The credit cards. Yeah.
Yes. But it's a matter of just like, you know, how you do your accounting, and I do upfront cash accounting based on like money being spent. And so if you're spending the money, you know, you're spending the money regardless if it's on a credit account. Spending the money, you still owe that money. There's just a liability, and then you're paying off the liability, you know, not the actual item itself. Like the item itself is already spent. You already spent the money immediately. You're just paying back the liability, and then you're paying the interest on that. So every month when you're paying the interest, that's a bill every month, right? That you're paying, right? And then the actual liability has already been spent. You're just transferring the money into the liability to get rid of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
anyways, that's how I do all of my accounting. So I have no problem with using credit cards. I'm fine with credit cards. And that could be a way we could do the financing to help ease the budget, but we'd still be spending the money, right? It would still cost $1,000 and we'd still be spending it. That just doesn't go right.
Yeah,
All right,
let's get the income going then first. Okay.
exactly. So anyways, here we have the policies on social media accounts and multimedia. So we got this started. We need to finish the next for the planning accounts, not a direct responsibility anymore. Okay, so this is low priority simply because this should not be my responsibility. So the question is, responsibility is it? The teams?
Yeah, definitely the whole team is responsible.
Okay. Yeah, and as the primary manager, obviously you want to make sure that that gets
It
addressed.
happens. Yeah.
I mean, we got started
sure.
on this, we just never finished it, and we started voting on the priority, the priority accounts for social media, and we just never, we just dropped the ball. No one followed up with it. A lot of that could be done async. All right, so
Yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, I was looking forward in in working on our plan. That's where I wanted to try to finish addressing the policy we're missing. We got one half basically. I mean, we have two policies that we wanted to pass. One we did, the other one was left there. But I mean, we still haven't gotten to that. For me, is now is the super top priority for the next main session for sure. SVG main session, we need to get this social media plan set up and move forward with that.
Yeah, cool. All right, sounds good. So the next one, so let's make sure we cover that. And again, it's a high priority. It's just low priority for executive support. So it's just as long as it's covered. Fine. All right, so the next one here is the website for the support alliance. So I think this needs to go higher priority.
Mm-hmm.
As we get more interested in life support, which obviously we are, and we scheduled, and we have the organizational support starting up again.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the SVG website is the top priority, but then as soon as the SVG website is completed, there's the CCC website, and then we've got the Support Alliance website for the support program related to the organizational support, and then we have the life support. So that'll all be on the same website.
Yeah, the Support Alliance.
And we could do that as a WordPress. We could also do a Google site, or mostly we're going towards having both for these kind of things. But it's like we already have a sponsorship program website, so I think that the only one missing is the Support Alliance at this time. So that's what I want. We need to prioritize that. That's pretty important.
Okay.
All right. So local office, which we're gonna do online scanning. So so this is just stuff that we can't really prioritize right now. Let's keep that going down. And that's gonna set up all the mail entities and getting a lot of obviously not priority statements. So this is for 4:30. We have a long time for that. All SVG launch time. So the overall SVG launch time is pretty much completed. That's good. Other considerations unforeseen. Group facilitation, self-facilitation. So, I don't know. We talked about doing that and then we didn't do it, but I think overall we're okay. Like if things start falling apart again with our team, we can prioritize that again. But I think overall we're not too worried about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always there in the topics, but we never got to do that.
Yeah. Plus, part of that was also saying that we need, especially as we were a really small group, it was like me and you and Joyce. Basically, that was like it. Maybe a little bit of a Moon. So we were so small, but as we add more people like Mel and Moth, and we're adding more people, we have to understand that actually, tactical ops is going to be more important.
Yeah. Yeah, with Mel, I think that the last session went really well compared to the previous two.
Cool, yeah,
we are much more focused because I mean, of course,
Well,
as you say, when you bring,
minus the whole Stacy thing. I mean, we obviously spent a lot of time on Stacy,
yeah,
and
that's
so I
yeah,
mean,
uh,
Mel is
yeah.
definitely
I'm not.
good at distracting us. I mean, without Mel, there's no question we probably would have launched already. But I feel like with Mel, she is pressuring us to really up our game. She wants us to be more professional,
Yeah,
more organized, more, image based, and like getting the public engaged. So, anyways, I think all those are good things, but obviously, it's going to take longer.
I don't know about think about getting about being organized and professional. We can teach her a lot, but I agree with you that on the image part of site, she's bringing a lot to the table,
Yeah.
and she got us very distracted. Yeah, I mean the Stacy part, I wasn't considering that, but
But I mean, we did the thing for Stacy because of it wasn't she wasn't we're not, like I mean, obviously it'd be great to recruit Stacy and have Stacy, give her a job and everything like that. But the main thing is just helping her out,
yeah, I
practicing,
mean, yeah,
getting her interacting, and to support Stacy. It's really a life support goal for Stacy. So,
yeah,
for Stacy, we need to get her into life support program and get that all set up, and that can be ideally on Wednesdays. So we'll get there. Yeah. All right.
yeah.
So that
All right.
brings us to the eval sessions, which are happening. I mean, I would say that they also proposed the policy that we were required to reschedule. But oh yeah, do we have that policy set up for the rescheduling of eval sessions? So yeah, I think for the eval,
We never voted on the policy.
yeah. So we definitely want that policy to get finalized. But I think overall the eval is just like almost ready to be removed from the executive
Your
priorities.
responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, because like we're taking care of it. It's working well. Everything's going there, and like eventually we can just assign somebody to oversee the eval sessions, like you're doing. That. All right. So um, legal bills,
We
all legal.
actually assigned Mamoon to our city session.
Well, that we might want to reconsider who we assign.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it's happening. Joyce also stepped up on that, even
Yeah.
if we never asked her or anything. She
Joyce is
was the
actually,
one that actually made it happen.
Joyce
She
is
was the
actually
one.
stepping up on everything pretty much. It's pretty.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
everything.
good. And like my hope with Joyce is that I mean, ideally, she's a good project manager because if she could help manage all the projects, especially where me and you lack the skill of, for example, doing the reminders on the deadlines and stuff, she's
Yeah,
already starting to do that, and she seems to be doing good on it because
very
we're
good.
we're not very good at that. So that would be
Yeah,
amazing if she could do that, and take on
Ta-
the technical apps.
tactical ops, exactly. Tactical ops. I see her. That's her role. She's
Yeah,
really good in that.
if she's good at that, that would be amazing because
Yeah,
those are things that we are lacking. All right, so
yeah, completely. Yeah.
So I think all the legal bills are fine. We have a while for those, and then we have the virtual office. Oh, hey, what's up? So the virtual office is the setup and digital decluttering. So I mean, for me, the virtual office is not as high priority as the decentralized file systems.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the virtual office should go under documentations. Anyway,
The status details also it's a bit outdated. Let's hopefully prioritize this before the launch late December. So
what's outdated?
the status detail on that it says let's hopefully prioritize this before the launch. It didn't happen late December. I mean, even the launch didn't happen late December.
Yes, but I think that things are changing and we just can't continue to prioritize. But I think the status itself obviously needs to change. So let's update the status and then go from there. But basically, so basically, we have not worked on the virtual office for years. I mean, it's been years since we did that. We want to prioritize the distributed file system. So once we get the distributed file system set up, basically the distributed file system is going to be some of like our most important files, right? So eventually one day we should be able to click a button and put everything into the blockchain, right? Or the automated ledger system for information, because that's the direction it's going. I mean, financial data is just information. It's just very, very small bits of information because it's such small amounts of data that you need to track Bitcoins and financial transactions. Whereas when you're actually tracking data, it's very large amounts of information. And so it takes a lot of bits, and in this case, gigabytes, right? So for now, we're just going to have a very few files in the distributed file system, but those files will be our most important files, so they need to be part of our virtual office. So we can just link those files in the distributed file system to our virtual office and make sure that they're accessible, and that people can download them and work with them. So I think that should be kind of like possibly the beginning of our new work on the virtual office would be setting up the distributed file system and then building that as a branch of the virtual office as we expand and evolve it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So, and then the decluttering of the files, like we are going to need to start building a list of data categories. So as we start dealing with data decluttering and overall data organization, we can start with categories. For example, one category will be our most important files that are going into the distributed file system, right? So we have, let's say we start with 5 gigabytes. What are the 5 most important gigabytes that are going to go into the distributed file system? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then from there, all the other data categories can include things like, you know, there's essential documents, there's luxury documents, which you might want to delete. And then the most important is, of course, archiving versus current. So your current documents are things that you're actively working on and actively changing, whereas your archive documents, basically you're done with them and they're no longer changing. You're no longer working on them. They're just there for reference. And the example of that is a policy would never be for reference. All policies are active documents. So all policy documents and responsibility organizing, all that would be active current documents.
Current documents, yeah.
Yeah, whereas notes would obviously automatically be archived.
Archive.
Yeah.
Then there is mass.
All right, so then these last 2 are just statements, so those are fine. Like deadlines.
Yeah. For the statements of information, you wrote in one status detail. Let me see. Anyways, I don't remember where I saw it. Maybe, yeah, here, line 21. No reason not to do this early. So the statement of information, I mean, as soon as we deal with the launch, which is the most important thing right now, priority right now. But I mean, we can do it anytime,
what
right?
happens is that when we do the legal bills for the Delaware address and USDOB, we might as well do the statement of information at the same time. You know, and get it all moving forward.
Yeah, will be good. Okay. All right, great.
Cool. And those need to keep prioritizing higher. So we could just put those all at like a 6. So let's take a look at our priorities here.
Yes.
So obviously the top priorities is basically SVG, the website, imaging, and the ownership. One thing that's important for the image is we want to get everything organized for the image. And I basically want, you know, for example, one spreadsheet or one document with all image proposals basically in one place. So it's like, here's the entire image envisioned for social value group, and then it can just all be voted on by the membership and the owners, and it's like a final vote, you know.
Okay.
That would be a goal, so that our entire image and vision is all in one single place. So anyways, we'll get there. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
But that would be the kind of the end
spreadsheet. So one single spreadsheet with all the image proposals and
I don't think image is the correct word. It's our identity.
identity.
Yeah, identity.
So with all the identity
Image is just part of
proposals,
our identity. Yeah.
so identity proposals and I don't know, and decisions to be voted upon
Well, it's not really proposals, but like basically like you would
the
start with
last time.
our name and social value group, right? So that's it. It's just like having everything all in one place. Like you have your name, our website,
The
and URL,
colors.
all of the things that relate to our image. Obviously, our final logo that we agree on. We just have our current logo, right? But it's basically just having it all in one place.
The logo is getting finalized. I'm very glad.
It's our
I was
mission,
worried
our
about
purpose, our vision, like all of those things would all be in one place. Yeah.
Identity. So I would say decisions and
But it's not decisions. That's not decisions.
information.
Yeah, it's just the information, and then we're going to make a decision about it to approve it.
Yeah, yeah. Before the launch.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Before the launch. So details. I'm writing in my personal primary manager priorities management spreadsheet. Before the launch. Okay, got it. Perfect. I'm gonna do that.
Cool.
All right, Jay. I think we're good with this, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. And then from there, it's just getting the CCC board set up. So SGV, SVG, and CCC, those are our priorities, and then everything else should happen from there. And the only other thing that's going to kind of like overtake some of these other priorities is going to be the new clients that we took on. So as soon as we start taking on new
Well,
clients,
sorry, I didn't get you, Jay. There was some disturbances. Can you repeat that, please?
I was just saying the only other thing that should usurp all these other priorities is client, like new clients.
Yeah, I mean, new clients, it's going to be the top priority as soon as we launch.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying as if we take on a client.
Yeah, but I think that, like, for example, like I see it, yeah, it's good to have everything ready beforehand. But I mean, I think that is going to be a top priority once we actually have, okay, this is a concrete, this is not more a lead, this is becoming a potential client, a potential account. So then we will want to be focused on getting everything set up, and it's going. But anyways, yeah, I'm not worried about it. But of course, it's high priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you want to take 5-minute break, and I ask Moth if he wants to jump on so we can get sorted out the.
I mean, it's definitely just not good timing for me. Is he just not available, or it's like, can we do it together? I don't know what.
So he's online. I think he's just waiting for us to tell him. All right, you can jump on. Okay, because I mean, I already gave him the training for the tracking hours. I gave him the standard 6 responsibilities.
Okay, well, we should go over that because it hasn't been updated anytime recently.
Yeah, not too much, but it's still applicable. Maybe there's one responsibility that needs to be changed. All right. Anyways, I think it would be good if he is present. What do you want to do? Should I ask him to jump or not?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, like, I need to get going. Yeah. So it's like now or never. I'm not taking a 5-minute break and coming back. Is my point.
You want to do it now? Okay, sure. No problem.
Like if he's available now, we can do it.
He's online. He's online. Yeah. So Moth, I'm gonna ask him to jump in. Moth, can you jump on Jitsi? Please. Are you still available? We can look into your tracking hours before So let's see. All right, so Jay, one thing. So maybe while we wait, Mark, we can start doing the wrap up and scheduling. I wanted to ask if it was possible for you maybe to run the base up from payers later. I would really use the money, and I think also Joyce asked me to remind you. I don't know how you are. If you want to schedule or you want to do it async.
We should always schedule. I mean,
Yeah.
we schedule, and then I can also try to do it async, you know?
Okay. So I'm available later, or well, how are you? You tell me.
Well, obviously, it'll be easier to do it on Monday instead of today or tomorrow, but I'll try to do my best. And we can, try to schedule and check in later tonight.